Now we are going to talk about the debts of countries. There is no country in the world without debt. The United States owes around $38 trillion. The European Union owes about $14 trillion, and Japan around $9 trillion. Even oil-rich countries are in debt, for example, Saudi Arabia. And here comes an interesting question. If all countries are in debt, then who are they indebted to? The answer is quite surprising. Countries are indebted to themselves, meaning to the world. But this situation works differently, and not everyone benefits equally. Behind it lies something much more complex. Let's take a short journey into history. The foundation of today's massive debt system actually began hundreds of years ago during a war. In 1694, while England was at war with France, its gold reserves ran extremely low. The solution came from merchants engaged in trade. Trusting that England would collect taxes in the future, they lent money to the king and received regular interest payments in gold. The Bank of England was established to manage these issues. Through this system, England began spending money it didn't actually have. This was also the beginning of modern government bonds. Other major states found the system reasonable as well. The Netherlands, America, France. Being able to borrow became a symbol of power. Coming back to the present. Today, debt has become one of the world's major products. Every country is in debt. All banks lend money, and citizens have become both debtors and creditors at the same time. So who is on the other side of all this debt? The essence of the issue is best explained by the example of the United States. Of the U.S.'s $38 trillion of debt, about half, around $20 trillion, belongs to investors. Most of these American investors are insurance companies, banks, funds, and the U.S. Federal Reserve. Of course, foreigners also hold U.S. debt, and this amount is around $9 trillion. Japan and China are the biggest holders among them. So the statement the U.S. owes China is true, but that debt is only about 2% of the total. In summary, the U.S. owes most of its debt to its own internal system. Let's describe this as a global cycle. This global cycle isn't limited to America. It works the same way in other countries as well. Japan lends money to the U.S. The U.S., through the IMF, provides financing to countries in need. Europe lends to countries that want to grow and develop. And the countries that borrow transfer their resources and reserves back to developed countries. Every country holds the debts and receivables of others. The world resembles a giant IOU wheel. Is there an invisible boss behind this chain? The stock markets